The multiverse is expanding. The election is getting closer, and I know you've been needing a laugh. All of this and more on this week's episode of Pulling the Focus.
Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode of Pulling the Focus. I'm Ryder Maldonado, and this show is basically going to be giving you three of the best segments when it comes to pop culture, giving you updates on pop culture, media, and TV. We've been planning this for a little bit, but if you're watching on October 16th, welcome to the official Strictly Casual rebrand. This is launch day, dude. This is exciting. How you feeling, man? How you doing?
I'm doing awesome, guys. My name is Luiggi. I'm just happy to be here, happy to be hosting this show with Ryder. It's going to be so fantastic for the brand, and not just for Pulling the Focus, but Strictly Casual. I think we're joining an excellent family and group of guys, and I think we're going to make some crazy awesome stuff. So just stay tuned for that. Absolutely. I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling really good.
Dude, yeah, me too. We got some awesome segments for you guys today. Let's get into the news. We're going to hop into it. Our first segment. What's poppin'? All right, this segment basically gives you all the updates when it comes to movies and TV, and more specifically the film entertainment world. So let's get into our first topic here. We got Spider-Man 3 castings. So this is
the multiverse.
The multiverse is expanding. This is probably the one I'm absolutely most excited for. So we got some new castings. Don't know how many of you guys have heard about it. We have Electro. Jamie Foxx has just been casted in the new Spider-Man 3, as well as Doctor Strange. How do you feel about this, dude? What's your thoughts?
I'm excited for this movie. I'm excited for WandaVision setting up this whole long kind of storyline that we're gonna see in Spider-Man 3, and then Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange's second movie. I think it's gonna be so cool to just see a lot of different. I heard Andrew Garfield might come back, maybe Tobey Maguire.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know.
The potential, the potential for the growth.
Exactly. But the potential is there. And I think that's fun. I think anytime a studio decides to be open like that and just try something new, I think they kind of nudge themselves with Spiderverse of this idea of creating maybe of expanded universe just for Spider-Man. But to bring in the other type of Avengers is really going to be interesting. So I'm very excited for that.
Absolutely. I think the big thing with this is bringing on Sam Raimi, the director from the original Spider-Man. I think having him kind of lead all this, being, I'm running, he directed the first three Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. So you have him now directing Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I mean, it's just leading up with Spider-Man 3, and then a couple months later, Doctor Strange. That's going to be kind of the big thing with Phase 4, is where I feel WandaVision starts it off, and then it kicks off to the whole universe of Multiverse. You know what I mean?
And jumping to a completely different universe, Star Wars Mandalorian Season 2 is dropping October 30th.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm so hyped for this, dude. Everyone's excited for is Baby Yoda, right? And the return to see
more Baby Yoda, bro.
More Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
I feel this the whole time. This is probably the biggest merchandising ploy Disney has ever employed, having just Baby Yoda. Oh,
more Baby Yoda, brother. We love ourselves some Baby Yoda, awesome, bro.
Yeah, I ordered a Baby Yoda coming in, but we'll see. Hope maybe on the show we can have a guest appearance of Baby Yoda. Come on, we'll see.
I think this premiere that we're gonna get for season 2 is gonna be amazing. Hopefully we get a little Ahsoka action, because that would be really dope.
That's probably the one cool thing everyone's excited for, right? Bringing cartoon characters to life.
Right. Cool. I mean, everybody's loved that character for so long, and I think this is one of the Disney's strongest, I think, storylines and shows they're working on as far as Star Wars is concerned.
Absolutely.
And I just want them to flesh it out, and I think Jon Favreau is just amazing with this show, and I think I don't even want to give him any notes, because I think he's
doing great.
He's good. He's doing great. Yeah, exactly. You're doing great, sweetie. You're doing
great. Good. Yeah. Well, speaking of casting, we can go ahead and continue on here. We have some new news when it comes to casting of a brand new Resident Evil film. So this is something I'm personally excited for. I don't know how you feel about the Resident Evil universe, but
used to watch it a lot as a kid. Fell off when I got an adult. When I became an adult, I fell off. I played the games though.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I think I fell in love with them because of the reboots in the games. So we have some awesome cast. They want to reboot and make kind of a new casting. So we have some awesome. We have Kea Scodelario. I kind of ruined these names, but we have here. She's going to be Claire Redfield. And then we have Hannah John came in, as well as Robbie Amell will also be joining in, Chris Redfield, and Tom Hopper as Wesker. So of course, very popular characters in the Resident Evil universe. I think the casting's all right. I think I'm pretty excited to see what they bring when it comes to, adapting a video game again as a movie. I know the originals were, not the best, but definitely they're fun to see on sci-fi stuff like that,
Absolutely. I think the original Resident Evil and then up until maybe Afterlife was actually good or interesting. The first two were definitely interesting. Very excited about that, but even more excited about Rick and Morty coming to HBO Max. Season 4 is coming to HBO Max November 1st. And I think, I'm not sure yet, I think they're hitting Hulu October 31st.
Okay, cool.
But I'm not sure how like the whole property thing is working now because South Park used to be on Hulu and now South Park is only on HBO Max. So they took it from Hulu. So I feel like slowly, a lot of these streaming services that are these new ones that are coming are slowly taking content from all these because it's all being licensed out, and if it's their original property, then obviously the IP is going to return back to whoever owns that streaming service. Like I think Harry Potter is owned by NBC or they have the rights for it. So it's leaving HBO Max and going back to Peacock now. So there's just a lot of mix up and we're going to keep you guys up to date with all that stuff, just so you know.
Absolutely. We plan to have sort of like a calendar that kind of gives you for the month kind of releases across different platforms like Netflix and HBO and Max. So we'll do our best to stay up to date with that so that way we can we'll be your source for all the updates on what's being posted.
I know there's a lot of fans out there of the show You. I have some special news for you. Season 3 is coming. It's not coming till 2021. It's not coming till 2021.
Okay, makes
but
sense.
It is coming. It is based on Caroline Kepnes's third book. I probably butchered her name just now. Never heard her name before, but she has apparently the whole series is based on her book series.
Have you seen the first 2 seasons of the show?
I watched season 1 and then I started season 2 and the first episode was a little slow for me, but then apparently it picks up after episode 1. And so I don't necessarily think that I like the girl Love as much as I like the first girl, Beck. Okay. But whatever.
It gets insane with that second girl. I think it's more of like the vibe of these people's personalities and who they are, so it's interesting. But I'm not against the 3rd season, so I'm looking forward to it. I'll see what they bring.
And we're gonna have a ton of these links down on the descriptions. You guys can check out these stories as well if you want.
As shows continue on like You, there are, unfortunately, due to COVID, lots of canceling shows. So we have a list of a lot of shows here if we want to go through them. I mean, we have Glow season 3. There was 3 seasons of Glow, and unfortunately, there won't be a 4th season, which is an abrupt ending for that show. They never had an ending. What else do we have?
Netflix didn't want to spend any more money, man. They didn't want to. They also getting rid of Altered Carbon after 2 seasons. They said, never mind, we don't want to do this anymore.
I never saw. Didn't they had recasted, right? They had changed Joel Kinnaman, I think, to the Falcon actor Anthony Mackie. Yeah, it was him. They had recasted. I don't remember what the situation was. But
so they recasted and then they canceled. Yeah, I guess they didn't like what they filmed.
Yeah. Other comic book shows like Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Arrow. We have Supernatural's. Some other shows like that.
Supernatural's coming to an end after this last season. So their series finale is the 19th of November. After that, no more new episodes of Supernatural. A couple other notable shows. Claws. After 4 seasons, Claws. I know some of you guys are out there going, Claws, such a great show. Ray Donovan, Homeland, Shameless. After 11 seasons is ending.
Keeping up with the Kardashians. I was even shocked. I was like,
up with the Kardashians?
I thought that was gonna go forever.
All right, guys. So before we end, we do want to end with a recommendation for our viewers. Ryder, what is your recommendation for this week?
So something I recommend is probably an older one, but I just recently got HBO Max, and so I'm going through all the shows. We got Silicon Valley. I would recommend to see that. Kind of a fun, upbeat, kind of tech moguls. They're in, the Silicon Valley trying to make an app. It's a fun show. And it is a lot older. I think they've already finished the show a year or 2 ago, but definitely recommend that one.
Silicon Valley is a fantastic show. I'm right there with you. I love it. It's a great series finale. My recommendation is actually also on HBO Max, oddly enough. Oh, really? Okay. HBO Max is just coming hot with the content.
For sure.
Agents of Chaos. I would highly recommend it. It talks about the Russia collusion that happened. It takes you on a first-hand POV from the journalists in Russia, in the United States, investigating it all as they go inside and become a part of the troll factory, as they show you how the Russians played this game of trying to create chaos in America. It's really intense, but it's very well made. And honestly, another one, just because I don't want to just leave it for the HBO Max, the Comey Rule on Showtime, super good, very well made. Another political show. Too many political shows out there.
Yeah.
But that's it for politics for now. let's get off of that topic and on to our next segment, which is called So our next segment is scrolling through the week. This segment is basically going to be us just talking about a couple of headlines that we saw throughout the week, maybe throughout the last couple of weeks, and just talking about the most important headlines that we think you should know about. Personally, I just want you to let you know, if you're watching this episode at a later date or at another time, this stuff that we might be talking about might not be current to what you're experiencing in the now. But I do want you to know that the information is just as important because it's crucial and it's actually interesting. Absolutely. So without further ado, let me go ahead and run through these, and then I'm gonna throw it to a Ryder to choose which one we talk about on a deeper level. Starting out the week, we had the Trump team get COVID. Oh my gosh. POTUS, FLOTUS, Press Secretary Kellyanne McKenna, that's Kellyanne Conway, the chair of the RNC, 3 senators. So many people got COVID, but the most important, interesting one was obviously the president of the United States. So next, NBA Finals heading to Game 6. The Heat won Game 5, absolutely wrecking the expectations that the Lakers were going to sweep. Insane. Next up, there was a plot, and this one's crazy, a plot to kill a governor in Michigan. Governor Whitmer was actually, they had a whole thing planned out that they were going to kidnap her and get rid of her. Crazy stuff. I know. It's almost unheard of. I think that I might choose that one to go deeper into that.
Sure, yeah.
IMAX for Lowe's, 150 employees. Yeah. Insane. IMAX for Lowe's. That means they got rid of those people. They don't have a job anymore. Think about those people. Regal Cinemas also closing back up. AMC staying open, just so you know. Next up, we have Amy Coney Barrett, the Supreme Court nominee, is starting to see the light of day. She is probably going to become a Supreme Court nominee and a Supreme Court justice after all. Next up, we have unemployment fraud. Oh my gosh, can you believe that? Unemployment fraud, stolen identities. Isn't that crazy? Stolen identities, dark web, and international crime. Oh my gosh, that sounds like a storybook movie, you know? Next up, the secondary debate has been canceled as of right now. Things might change by the time you view this. Donald Trump said he's not doing a virtual debate. He wants to do one in person. I agree. Debates should always be in person because you get to feel the room and the energy in the room and the pressure.
Absolutely.
We have Kanye West casting his own vote. Speaking of running for president, Mr. West casted his vote for himself. Said, F the establishment. I'm voting for myself. I know, crazy.
So interesting.
And last but not least, the Nobel Peace Prize goes to UN, the UN's World Food Program. The Nobel Peace Prize went to them. And that is all we have for you guys today. So Ryder, after hearing all those headlines, which one do you think is the most interesting to you right now?
I think for me, the one that stood out was really this, the stolen identities and anything with dark web and kind of international crime, the fraud that's been going on. Let's go ahead and get into this article right here.
Ooh, he's curious about unemployment fraud. I would be too.
Anything in dark web is always so interesting to me because I always feel like it's just like a kind of conspiracy or just a YouTube thing, but then you forget that it's actually real. Like, wow, this stuff actually goes on.
So basically, when you sign up for unemployment, they send you a debit card, right? An EDD card. And basically what was going on is thousands of those cards that received the money from the government were being basically written in for other people who didn't claim them. And then people would stop by their mailbox and then just grab them. And basically this fraud was that those people never claimed unemployment, or someone was using their address and then putting somebody else's name, all sorts of crazy stuff like that. So basically what it looks like also is these same cars were then being sold on the dark web. And why I think one of the reasons why it says international crimes is because people from other places, other countries were buying up these cards and getting that government money. So the United States government was sending the money to those cards, right? And it might have been our state government. It doesn't. When people talk about United States government, I think people need to specify what levels it is. Yeah. There's local, state, and federal. Which is federal. It means our whole United States. I think this is probably on the states. It could be on the federal. I don't quote me on that. But it looks like it was pretty intense. I wonder how much money they gave out. Like, they already have those numbers, tabulated.
Does it have anything to do with the COVID situation, or is it just like everyone's all like vulnerable, right?
No, of course it has to do with COVID because of the fact that COVID is what caused so many people to jump into unemployment, and there's be so much money pushed to those the unemployment agencies. So since they have so much money now, it becomes a cause for fraud. I encourage you to not let this virus, hold you down from like trying to find a job or trying to put yourself back out there. Wear a mask and everything, but just be smart about it and try to put yourself back out there to help out society in what ways you can. And maybe you don't have a job, but you can go out there and protest or march for stuff you believe in. Definitely a good cause.
Absolutely. Right. So continuing on, Luigi, kind of what headline would you like to pick? Which one kind of stood out for you?
So personally, I think this plot to kill the governor of Michigan is probably the most interesting one for me, because you don't hear about stuff like this happen really. Like it's kind of rare that something like that would happen. And personally, the story itself is really crazy, because apparently what happened, it was these 8 white men, and they originally were trying to create this narrative where it was like, oh, all the 8 of the men were all these Trumpists and they were all for Trump. But then today it actually came out that one of the guys actually hates Trump and he's super anti-Trump, and he's actually just an anarchist. He sees himself as an anarchist. So take that with these other men who probably they just hate the way things are being run, but they don't know how to like deal with it. And personally, I think it's all wrong, right? If you decide to plot to murder anybody, like, it's wrong and you should go to jail. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But I do definitely think that this needs to be further investigated by whoever, maybe the FBI. I think the FBI. She's okay. They didn't get her. That's really the whole gist of the story. Right now, they've already I think they caught all 8 of the guys, and they're being prosecuted. They're going through the process. So that was that one. That one didn't seem that intense, but it is intense. But it's not like there's a whole bunch of information. It's really a simple story.
Yeah, I bet stuff like that happens on the daily. You know what I mean? Like conspiracies and threats to plots to do things.
It's crazy enough because people probably think that stuff like that doesn't happen anymore. But I mean, clear as day. People are crazy out here in America, and like we have to be able to like call it out and be like, we don't want that crazy. Keep that crazy away from me.
All right, so what was really kind of the second headline that really popped out for you?
Honestly, man, it was probably Trump getting COVID. Like, to me, that was so unprecedented. It was just so crazy to think that the president of the United States got the virus. But it's funny enough, he's seeing it as a godsend because of the fact that he got to use this drug called Regeneron, and apparently it healed him. It healed him like...
Sounds like a Marvel thing.
It does sound like a Marvel thing, right?
Regeneron.
I drank some Regeneron and I'm good.
That's crazy.
But he really is good. Like, I've been watching the videos of him. He looks healthy. He looks fine.
Yeah, there's a lot of different conspiracies about whether like he faked it or whether it was like a ploy, or I think whatever it was random.
Right, and I don't think that like all those people we mentioned at the beginning, the chair of the RNC, those 3 senators, like they would go as far as to lie for him like that. Like that seems very far-fetched. I think he did have it, and I think that, like he said, the fact that he got it is kind of like crazy because they were able to test this new drug. They hadn't tested Regeneron on anybody. He said, let me take it, let's see if it works. And it did. And so that's kind of like, that's why he says it's kind of like a godsend that he did it. And take that with a grain of salt. But obviously he did get better, and obviously it was crazy that he had it. And personally, I think if they both test negative, him and Joe Biden, for COVID, if they test negative for COVID, then they should do a debate in person. That's just my thinking. That's my last thought on this, and that's my last thought on this whole segment personally. If you have any last words, you go right ahead and then take us away to the next one.
All right, this next segment, Search Party, is basically a more lighthearted tone. So basically in this segment, we kind of bring each other a funny thing that we've seen for the past week. It could be a quote, it could be a photo, a meme, or a funny video, just something that we thought was funny to kind of share with each other and kind of give each other a laugh as we're going through the week. So let's go ahead and get into this first one. I know you brought me Jeff Bezos laugh, dog with no body, some funny ones. What's the first one you want to get into?
Honestly, if you want to get into that Jeff Bezos laugh, it is crazy. He's trying out like this super futuristic animatronic that is him controlling 2 arms. The thing looks like he's about to become Dr. Octopus. Like he is legitimately Doc Ocking us like right as we speak, and his laugh midway through it, if you guys want to hear it. The next one I have, if you want to go to the guy jumping a bike off of a ski jump,
okay,
this is some crazy. This is for the viewers at home. This is some crazy. Do not attempt this anytime, anywhere, ever, because absolutely absurdity. Like it was so wild when I watched this the first time. I was like, what?
Okay, here we go.
God, poor guy.
Oh my god. I don't like that they put it in slow motion. Like, that's so horrible. Like,
I know.
Were they prepping that? Oh, I guess partly because the stunt, they expected him to kind of succeed on that.
Dude, I don't know what they were thinking, but you can hear him at the end, and they like yell. They're like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Ah," like he was in pain. He was definitely in pain. I would have been too.
Yeah, he's like cheering. Yeah. The one that I bought two. So these are more photos that I just see on Twitter that I think are funny. So we got, let's see. For those of you that have seen the film Marriage Story, this is kind of a scene when he's kind of like banging on the wall, and so they kind of put, well, the hurt doesn't show, but the pain still grows. It's no stranger to you and me. Dun, 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 dun. I can feel... Oh, sorry, that's a different song. What am I? But he's banging the wall to. He's banging the wall to, you know, if you get it, he's banging the wall to the beat of the song. And then another one that we have right here, I thought this was hilarious. CBS Sports NBA posted this photo of Mickey Mouse, and it was just him, Mickey tuning in for some versus Lakers action, and it's just a straight photo of him just there looking.
Just some guy in costume who they paid $300.
Yeah, it's just interesting to me. That's kind of like, that's what I thought was the funniest thing that stood out for me this week. But yeah,
clearly, if you're watching this, we have different tastes of what we think is interesting on the internet.
Yeah. If any of you guys have any funny memes or anything that you see on Twitter or social media, feel free to post a link down in the comments below, and we'll check it out, and might be featured in the next episode.
Also, I don't know if you want to show this one, but one last one is just this guy created a little scuba tank, like a mini scuba, created it to be like a spy movie where it can just be pulled out and you can just jump into the ocean. I saw this on TikTok and I was just like, this is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Like, if you could market this, it would change scuba diving forever. Like the way people scuba, and I think people, if you've ever actually done scuba and you know how hard it is, I've never done it.
Yeah, I follow this guy on YouTube.
It is so cool. It is so cool to see him like build this thing out of scratch and then just have it actually function is absolutely fantastic. It's pretty dope, right? Like that was pretty crazy, right?
I always feel like if I had the time, I'd get into more like crafting and building stuff like that, you know?
I always think about like the modern day inventors that we hardly ever hear about. Like the only time you ever hear about people inventing stuff is on Shark Tank. And I wish that it was more like public like that, to where, you know, people were just like, oh, I want to post this, and then you had easy access to it, you know? And that's what I love about social media. Like TikTok has helped with a lot of people's businesses where they'll post their product and suddenly it blows up, and then they have 1,000 orders because your product went viral, you know? I think that that's so cool that we live in an age where marketing isn't dead like that, and it's like new creative ways of doing things and new creative ways of starting businesses, you know? Absolutely fantastic. Just like us, who started this company with James and Vincent. If you guys are watching, we want to shout you guys out. Strictly Casual is expanding just like the universe, just like everything else around us, and I have enjoyed this episode so much.
Yeah, this was fun. This was so much fun. We really appreciate you guys watching. We hope you enjoyed. This is a special episode since it is the launch day, but we will be premiering each week on Mondays in the mornings. So stay tuned for that.
So basically, I just want to run it down for you guys. Pulling the Focus is going to be the place where you get all your news as far as the interesting stuff. I'm going to try to bring some craziness. Ryder's going to try to bring in some awesomeness, and I guarantee you're going to have fun, because we're having fun, and I think if we're having fun, you guys will have fun. And honestly, I want to leave it at that, because you guys are amazing. We love you for tuning in. Subscribe, like this video. We appreciate it all. We want to grow this media company into being something bigger than what we even dream of it becoming. So please help us get there. You are just as much a part of it as I am.
So yeah, that'll wrap it up for this week's episode. Thank you so much for watching, and have a cheers off to you.
Cheers, everybody. See you guys on the next one.
Gone gold. We're talking about bug snacks, baby, especially because bug snacks is going to be a PS5 launch title, which I was not expecting at all.